In this video, we're breaking down 6 revolvers that earn their spot as legendary sidearms. Real quick, before we get into it, huge thanks for your support. If you're enjoying these deep dives, a sub would mean the world. Number 6. Marlin 336. Few rifles bring out that grin like this old one does. It's instantly recognizable. The Marlin 336 chambered in 30-30 Winchester. A true icon among American deer hunters. When Ruger took over the reins, lever action enthusiasts everywhere held their breath. Could they restore the brand to its former glory? Safe to say they delivered. This isn't just a nostalgic comeback, it's a statement. The craftsmanship speaks for itself. From the streamlined forend to the impeccable bluing, everything about this rifle screams precision. Gone are the inconsistencies that plagued the Remington-era guns. This one's clean, tight, and built like it should be. And yes, it's more than just a pretty face. This model took home the editor's choice for Gun of the Year during testing, and it wasn't just because of the history behind it. The CNC machining is top-notch. Fit and finish are practically flawless. The walnut stock is beautifully checkered, and the action, buttery smooth. Priced at $1,239 at least officially, this rifle is a steal considering demand is sky high. Resellers are charging more, but even at a markup, it's worth every penny. Number 5. Winchester Model 1892. It's the younger, faster sibling of the heavier 1886. Back in the early 1980s, Winchester needed an upgrade. The 1873 had served well, but it was losing its edge. So when the company's president approached John Browning with the idea of shrinking the 1886's action to fit pistol calibers, it wasn't just a casual pitch. It came with a money on the table challenge. Build it in 3 months, get 10 grand. 2 months, 15. But Browning didn't just take the bet, he flipped it. He said, give me 1 month, pay me $20,000 or I'll hand it over for free. 2 weeks later, prototype ready. The resulting model 1892 borrowed heavily from the 1886's mechanics, especially the twin vertical locking lugs that made it reliable. But where the 86 was designed for big game cartridges, the 92 focused on versatility and handling. It was smoother, faster, and better suited for cowboys, ranchers, and anyone who wanted something easier to carry around all day. It handled 44-40s like a dream, but Winchester didn't stop there. 38-40, 32-20, and eventually 25-20 joined the lineup. Around 1920, Winchester quietly dropped the 18 from the model branding name, rebranding it as simply the Model 92. It was a small marketing move that kept the rifle from sounding outdated, especially as it kept selling well into the 20th century. This wasn't a one-size-fits-all gun either. Barrel lengths? You could get everything from a 14-inch trapper to a 36-inch long-barreled beast. Round or octagonal barrels, standard or deluxe wood. Engraving, special sights, the 92 was customizable in all the ways shooters wanted back then. Number 4. Savage Model 99. Back when most lever guns were built around tubular magazines and exposed hammers, the Model 99 showed up looking and working like it came from a different era. Internally, it housed a rotary magazine that didn't just break tradition, it solved a major safety flaw. See, traditional tube-fed rifles forced bullets to sit nose to primer, which can cause chain detonations under recoil. Savage's rotating design eliminated that risk, letting you run pointed bullets with no stress. Not only did the magazine load smarter, it also kept count for you, literally. A small window in the receiver let you know how many rounds were still on board. Combine that with an enclosed action, a hidden hammer, and a cocking indicator, and you've got a rifle that was punching above its weight in the tech department, especially in the early 1900s. The Model 99 wasn't just about looks or clever features, it performed. Shooters loved its strong action and its ability to handle modern smokeless cartridges long before most lever rifles caught up. The introduction of the 250 Savage and the 300 Savage were turning points, especially the latter, which eventually laid the groundwork for the military 7.62 NATO and the civilian 308 Winchester. Even when bolt action started stealing the spotlight, the 99 held its ground. It cycled faster, handled better for some, and still offered great ballistic performance. Sure, bolt guns took over due to price and production scale, but among those who actually hunted and paid attention, the 99 never lost respect. Number 3. Marlin 1894. Originally released in 1894, this rifle wasn't just another addition to Marlin's lineup. It was a game changer for pistol caliber carbines built with a solid top receiver and side ejection, a huge improvement over the traditional top ejecting designs of the time. That single design shift made it easier to mount optics and keep debris out of the action, which quickly won over many shooters. Initially, the 1894 was chambered for classic black powder revolver rounds like 2520 and 4440, but production stopped in the early 1930s due to declining demand and internal struggles. However, with the rise of the 44 Magnum in the 1960s, Marlin saw an opportunity. In 1869, the 1894 made a triumphant return, this time built to handle high-pressure revolver rounds like 44 Magnum. That move made it a go-to for hunters and cowboy action shooters alike. Throughout the next few decades, the 1894 would see versions chambered in 357 Magnum, 41 Magnum, and 45 Colt. Its popularity never really waned thanks to its handy size, smooth cycling, and the convenience of using the same ammo in both rifle and revolver. If you've ever carried a lever gun on horseback, in a truck, or around the property, you'll understand why this design stuck around so long. Then came the turbulence. Remington took over Marlin in the late 2000s and things got messy. Quality dropped, fit and finish issues popped up, longtime fans noticed the difference, and the nickname Remlin wasn't exactly a compliment. Mismanagement, plant closures, and loss of skilled labor crippled the 1894's reputation. Even when quality began to improve, the damage was done. Fast forward to 2020, Ruger stepped in, bought Marlin, and hit the brakes. They paused all production to get things right. When they relaunched in 1895, fans were cautiously optimistic, and by mid-2023, Ruger finally rolled out their version of the 1894, rebuilt, retuned, and ready for action. The Ruger-made 1894 Trapper and 44 Magnum is a prime example of how to resurrect a legend. With a 16.1-inch barrel and 8+1 capacity, a large loop lever, stainless steel finish, and laminated stock, this rifle was built for both aesthetics and abuse. It weighs about 6.3 pounds unloaded and has a smooth 4.5-pound trigger pull, not match grade, but more than capable. Accuracy-wise, not a sniper rifle, but consistent. It won't win bench rest competitions, but 2 to 2.5 inches at 50 yards is plenty for what this rifle was built to do. Fast, repeatable shots with revolver-level punch. Feeding reliability is solid too, even when cycling a mix of 44 Special and 44 Magnum. Aluminum-cased ammo wasn't great, no surprise there, but everything else ran smooth. The MSRP is around $1,500, but street price hovers closer to $1,200. Yes, that's more than what these rifles used to cost under Remington, but what you're getting is night and day. Fit, finish, and function have all been significantly improved. Number 2. Winchester Model 1894. Crafted by legendary designer John Browning, the rifle made its entrance in, you guessed it, 1894. It wasn't just a firearm, it was a revolution. It became the first commercial lever-action rifle specifically designed for smokeless powder, initially offered in calibers like .32-40, .38-55. The real game changer came a year later with the arrival of the .30-30 Winchester. That round would become synonymous with deer hunting in North America's dense forests. This wasn't just a gun for the range. It found its way into the field, into family traditions, and even into military history. Small quantities were procured by the U.S. military during World War I, and during World War II it served in the hands of civil defense groups. It wasn't just about sport, it was about utility. Through the mid-1900s, the Model 94 reigned supreme in American hunting culture. By 1927, it had already passed the million-unit milestone. By the time the New Haven production line ceased in 2006, over 7 million had been built, most of them chambered in .30-30. Of course, not everything was smooth sailing. In 1964, Winchester tried to save costs by switching to sintered receivers and stamped parts. Many longtime fans weren't impressed. That year marks a dividing line. Collectors still hunt for the higher quality pre-64 models. The rifle didn't disappear though. Production shifted overseas to Morocco and Japan. keeping the legend alive under the Winchester name. And even today, you can walk into a store and find a Model 94 ready for action. Design-wise, the 1894 built on the mechanical groundwork of its predecessors like the 1886 and 1892. The action was refined. Gone were the awkward bolt designs of the earlier models. The 94 introduced a single solid locking lug that simplified the firing mechanism while still handling the pressure of modern smokeless rounds. The 3030 Winchester wasn't just an innovation, it was a perfect fit for its time. Balancing recoil, power, and accuracy, it offered a middle ground that hunters didn't know they needed until they had it. It could drop deer cleanly, but was still manageable enough for smaller game. Safety was another area where the 94 stood out. The addition of a transfer bar system and other internal safety features ensured that the rifle wouldn't discharge unless everything was locked into place, a much-needed evolution from earlier systems. Number 1. Marlin Model 39A. Originally introduced in 1891, Marlin's first 22-lever gun was called the Model 1891. It featured a side-loading gate, yes, just like its big-bore cousins, but that design didn't quite hold up. So not long after, Marlin switched to a more efficient front-loading tubular magazine. Fast forward to 1897, they updated the platform again, and by 1921, the Model 39 was born. What followed in 1939 was a refined masterpiece, the Model 39A. The 39A brought something special to the table, Marlin's own micro-groove rifling. This barrel design significantly improved accuracy, making it one of the most precise little rimfires you could own. But it didn't stop there. These rifles were also built to break down easily. A takedown screw in the receiver allows the rifle to split in two, perfect for cleaning, maintenance, or packing away. There are two popular variants you might come across, the full-size rifle and the Mountie. The standard version came with a 24-inch barrel and a pistol grip stock, and it could hold 26-22 shorts, 21-22 longs, or 19-22 long rifle rounds. That's some serious capacity. The Mountie version, introduced in 1954, featured a shorter 20-inch barrel, a straight stock, and a straight lever loop, making it lighter and handier. It held slightly fewer rounds, 20 shorts, 16 longs, or 15 long rifle, but the core mechanics and performance were identical. In 2017, Marlin re-released it through their custom shop. The catch? It'll cost you a hefty $3,200. Which one of these caught your eyes? Or maybe you've got a lever story of your own. Drop it in the comments.